Okay, so we are going to go over some practice problems that'll get you ready, not just for your test, but also what's coming before your test, your big quiz. Okay, so you got a big quiz on Monday. When I say big quiz, it's like 15 questions. I say it's big because it's important. It's our first indicator of how ready you are for the test on Wednesday. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is simplify the expressions. Okay, so if you could, please write down these two. You can write them side by side. All right, you could title, simplify the expression. That's what we're doing here. And by simplify the expression, it doesn't mean find an answer. We can't find an answer because we don't know what x equals. All we can do is combine like terms until everything is simplified. Okay, so go ahead and work through these first two problems. I'll walk around and kind of check on you guys, and we'll go over them. All right, guys, how would you rearrange the first expression? Can someone raise their hand and tell me how they would rearrange it? Joel?
Negative 8 plus 12 and negative 5x plus 5x.
Okay, very good. All right, so he did his numbers first and then his variables. What's negative 8 plus 12?
Negative 4.
Yep, it's 4. And then what's negative 5x plus 5x? 0. Okay, so because they completely cancel, I won't write anything at all. Don't write 0x. Don't write x. Don't write anything. They cancel out completely. All right, and then for the second one, all right, would you agree it looks a little more difficult, right? Why? What makes it look more difficult? The fractions. But it doesn't need to be intimidating because I can group them together, and here's where the grouping could be helpful, okay? Because when I group my fractions together, it gives me a better visual on what I need to do to combine them. Are they ready to be combined? No, because what do I need? Yes, the LCM or LCD. So which fraction needs to change? 2 7s, and what do I make it? Yes, 4 over 14 x minus 3 over 14 x. All right, these fractions will not be like very difficult fractions. They're going to keep them real basic because remember, this is not a test on fractions. It's a test on combining like terms. But you need to know your fraction rules. What's 4 minus 3? 1 over 14x minus 2. All right? Anybody get both of them? Anybody get both of them? Anybody get 1 out of the 2? Maybe just a small mistake? Awesome. You guys did great. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to find the sum now. Find the sum. I suggest rewriting it to group your like terms. That is not something I will deduct for on the quiz and test. Okay? It's my suggestion. It's what I'll show you. But we're looking for just combining the like terms. Okay, so everybody together with me. 2x plus 3x is 5x, and then 12 minus 15? Negative 3. Okay, I saw some people doing the 5x plus negative 3. Okay, but remember, this is turning in now to a double sign, and if you do it that way, you must put negative 3 in parentheses. I would not suggest doing that. 12 minus 15 is negative 3. Put the negative in front of it and be done with it. Okay? I won't take off on the quiz if you write it the second way. Just make sure negative 3 is in parentheses. But the more you can break the habit of that, the better. Okay? All right, so on the second one, what's negative 4c plus 6c? Negative 4 plus 6. 2c. What's negative 3 minus 7? Negative 10. Okay, so same sign, add and keep. Okay, negative 10. 2c minus 10. Good job. All right, how'd you guys do? Did okay on it? Okay, so now find the difference. Find the difference now. Remember, there is There is a little bit of a change that has to happen before you can combine like terms. Okay, find the difference. Right, can anybody tell me, raise your hand and tell me what is the change that needs to happen before combining like terms? Aaliyah?
Change the subtraction to addition, and then the 2x becomes negative 2x, and then the 6 becomes a positive.
Yes, very good. Okay, so that subtraction changes to addition, and then 2x becomes negative and 6 becomes positive. I want you to physically write that, okay? Because when you write it and you have that visual, again, that reduces your chances of making a mistake. All right? So then combine your like terms and solve. Don't forget to do that on the second set of problems as well. All right, let's finish simplifying. So 4x minus 2x is what? 2x. Negative 2 plus 6? 4. Positive 4. Okay, so 2x plus 4. Now, again, I've got to change my signs. This becomes a plus, this becomes a plus, and this becomes a plus. So now I can group my x's. 6.2x minus 3x. They are opposite. Subtract them. Okay. If you said negative 3x plus 6.2x, same thing. Okay. And then plus 8 plus 4. All right. So what's 6.2 minus 3?
3.2.
Plus 12. All right. So most of the mistakes that we will see, hopefully very, very few, but most of the mistakes we'll see have to do with your signs. Guys, those are easy mistakes to make. Okay, so that's why I say the more you can write down, the better off you'll be. Okay, so now we're going to practice distributive property. I tried to choose one that was probably like on the more difficult side of things as far as we're doing distributive property, but we also have to work on combining like terms. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this problem. Remember, we must distribute before we can simplify. Okay, so let's work through this problem. Okay, all right, bringing it back together. Sorry, I started that recording probably a little too early. Okay, good job, guys. The collaboration was really good. Okay, so some of you got confirmation that you did the problem right. Others of you had discussions on who was right and who was wrong. That's all great, okay? Hopefully the correct answer prevailed. We'll see. All right, so negative 3 times 4 is? Negative 12. Okay, so here's where we had some different answers. Negative 3 times negative 3n.
9n.
Positive 9n, because it's 2 negatives and that's an even number. So this is plus 9n plus 3n. Okay, so now because my n's are the same, I can add the coefficients. What's 9 plus 3?
12.
Yes. All right, so here's the last question and where I saw some different answers. Do these terms cancel each other out? No, they don't, because they're not like terms. This is it. This is it. Okay? All right, guys. Good job on distributive. Now let's start factoring. I need you to factor these expressions using the GCF. Okay? Factor the expressions using the GCF. Remember what you need to do if you think you know the GCF, but you just want to make sure. Matthew? Yes, yes, exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. You need to list the factors of the lowest number. So 1 times 16. Does 16 go into 42? No, so we go 2 times 8. Does 8 go into 42? Nope. It goes into 40, but not 42. So now I go to 4 times 4. Does 4 go into 42? No. So 16 is out, 8 is out, 4 is out. This is where my factors repeat. So if 4 is out, the next one down is 2. Okay? So 2 is a bit deceiving because a lot of times when we think 2 is the GCF, Does anybody else, your mind starts playing tricks on you and you think there's got to be a number bigger? Yeah. Right? No. Okay, so without all the extra talking, that I just did, listing your factors out should only take you a few seconds, like a minute, right? But now you're sure. You're like, okay, I'm good. Now I can pull out my 2. Okay? And how do I figure out what's left inside the parentheses? How do I figure that out, Hadley?
Do 16 divided by 2 and 32. Negative 42 divided by 8.
Perfect. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then, yes, I need to bring down my n. And negative 42 divided by 2 is?
Negative 21.
Negative 21. Guys, here's another confirmation that I did find the GCF. If I truly found the GCF, then the numbers left inside will share no common factors with each other. So between 8 and 21, are there any common factors? No. 2, 4, 8, those are not common factors. So I know that I have factored this completely. This is my answer. Okay, here we go. What's the GCF here? Okay, mine might play tricks again, but do we know the GCF? Tell me.
21.
Yes, not 7. Not 7, okay? I know. You're like, man, I put 7, okay? Now, if you had put 7, you should have had some common factors left inside, all right? And then caught that. So 21 is your GCF. Actually, let me show you what it would have looked like if you pulled out 7. Because, honestly, when I first looked at it, I thought it was 7 too. Okay? So 63 divided by 7 is 9a plus 3. So if this was your final answer, guys, look at this. Do 9 and 3 share a common factor? Yes, 3. Okay? So because they share a common factor, that means you did not find the GCF. Okay? Now, here's the easiest way to get to your answer if you didn't find the GCF. You can factor one more time and pull out the 3. You agree that 3 was the common factor, right? If you pull out the 3, then you multiply it by what's already pulled out. And then you divide again. What's 9 divided by 3? 3a plus 1. Okay? And then you get down to your answer of 21 times 3a plus 1. I would not recommend this method, okay? Because there's a lot of steps in there where you can mess up. If you had just come up here and started with listing your factors, you would have seen 21 goes into 63, okay? But either way, you'll get to the correct answer. Did anybody get this one right? Anybody get this one right? All right, that's great.
I have a question.
We're going to speed things up just a little bit, okay? You will have some rational numbers here, which means decimals and fractions. Remember my rule here. I need to pull out the smallest of the two numbers. Most of the time that will mean the decimal value. Just remember on the decimals, it doesn't matter if you pull out the decimal value, like if it's the bigger number, or, I'm sorry, I take that back. You must pull out the smaller number, whether it's the decimal or not, okay? But most of the time it will be the smaller number is the decimal value, okay? Like it is in this case. So smaller number of the two, 5.6, is what I pull out, okay? Now I have to figure out what's left inside. The great news is, because I pulled out 5.6, which was the first number, any number divided by itself is what, class? 1. It's 1. So 1G, everyone should get to this point, okay? Because here I've done no math up to this point. Now, to divide negative 7 by 5.6, that's going to require what? Long division, okay? That's going to require the long division. And I'm just going to help you out because we're running out of time. This division would make it negative 1.25, okay, when you did it long division, okay? All right, so just trust me on that. When you divided, that's what you would end up with, and that's your final answer, okay? Now I want you to look at the fractions. Look at the fractions. Which fraction would you pull out? 1/4. Because it's the smallest. Only 1/4. Okay, you're going to pull out 1/4, and what are you left with for the first term?
1y.
Just 1y, or just y. Okay, but now you must divide 3/4 divided by the fraction that you pulled out. So now you have to divide 3/4 by 1/4. What do I have to do before I can solve this? You got to flip it. Okay? So the great thing here, and I know I've said this already, but I'm going to say it again, these aren't going to be overly difficult fractions. Cross reduce your 4s, and what is it? It's 3. Y plus 3. No, it's 3/1. Okay? All right, rational numbers. Now, on the negative, which is on your quiz and test, it tells you what to pull out, and then all you have to do is divide the original term by the factor you pulled out. Go ahead and finish solving this one. Samuel, what did you get for your answer?
5d plus 12.
All right, he said 5d plus 12. Do you agree with him?
Yes.
Okay, you should, because, no, he got one thing wrong.
Negative 6 times 5d plus 12.
No, wait, he did it right. Negative 6 times 5d is negative 30d, okay? So again, in reverse, negative 30 divided by negative 6 is positive 5. Negative 72 divided by negative 6 is positive 12. This is correct. All right? Now, the modeling real life. Guys, do you remember this example from class with the rocket pad?
Yeah.
Okay, with the notes? All right, so for the area, length times width equals the area. All right, and it gives me, the width is 80 feet. Okay, so 80 times what would give me the total area of 80x plus 4,800. Oh, sorry, 80x, not 8x. Okay, 80. Okay, so the first one's going to be easy. What's 80 times what gives me 80x? 1x, right? And now I can do some division. 48 divided by 8. What's 48 divided by 8? 6. Okay. Now, 2 of my zeros, 1 0 cancels each since I have 1 0 left over. That means I have 1 0 after the 6. So my length is 1x plus 60. This might be one where you want to fast forward to the video and make sure you watch this example. And it's asking you to solve for length. Okay? Okay, so that gets us into our review questions. Because we're out of time, this is all you need to know for your quiz. Okay? You do have a review section on your test. So we'll go over these two, it's just 2 slides. The review question is always 5 questions, but you will have the absolute value, the distance between 2 numbers, and the mean. Okay? Those are the questions, the review questions that will be on your test. We will go over these before your test. Okay? But we just ran out of time today. So that's everything you need to know for your Quiz Monday.